Jesus is comparing four principles. On one hand, there are the four principles that worldly people live by. And then there are the four principles that the citizens of the kingdom of heaven live by. So this whole passage is defined by St. Augustine's distinction of the city of God and the city of man. And we want to be found in the city of God. So what are the principles that the world lives by? Well, you won't find them directly in the Beatitudes because Jesus is always saying, blessed are they. But you'll find their opposites, or the antidote, as it were, or the insurance that you're not following the ways of the world. Excuse me. So, the world lives for wealth, pleasure, power, and honor, or respect. And these are contrasted to certain of the Beatitudes. So, Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Or in Luke, he says, blessed are you who are poor. To say, those who say, blessed are the wealthy, are wrong. Jesus says, blessed are they who mourn, to show that the people who say, blessed are those who enjoy pleasure, are wrong. Jesus says, blessed are the meek, not returning evil for evil, certain self-control, to show that those who say, blessed are the powerful, are wrong. And Jesus says, blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, to show that those who say, blessed are those who are respected, are wrong. In contrast, the ideals of the kingdom of heaven are these. The principles that we should live by, the things that we should seek out. Are justice, so righteousness, justice, that's the idea here, giving to each his due. Mercy, which is not opposed to justice in any way. Cleanness or purity of heart, by which is intended a singleness of purpose, not mixing in ulterior motives in what we have to do. And peace. And this is all good, and it's something we can practically pursue. Let's think about this. If we want to live according to the gospel message, here are the positive things that we run after. After we abandon the ways of the world, we want to pursue giving to each person what he deserves. We want to give people better than they deserve, whether that's materially or spiritually or emotionally or what have you, granted in proportion to our proximity to them, but we want to show mercy to others because we know that we need mercy shown to us because we're sinners. Singleness of purpose, purity of heart. That means avoiding being double-minded. That means avoiding running after pleasures, but we've already taken care of that in theory here. But just being honest about what we want and seek. And sometimes it'll be the wrong thing. If we're honest with ourselves and then try to reject that, then we're on the path. Making peace. And that means peace within ourselves, peace with our families, peace with our neighbors. And importantly, it's not a peace that we simply achieve by not arguing about stuff. It's a peace and a unity that can only come from God. As the prayer before the sign of peace in Mass, the priest says, Lord Jesus Christ, who said to your apostles, peace I leave you, my peace I give you. Now the continuation of Jesus's quotation is, not as the world gives, do I give that peace unto you. So this is not worldly peace. This is not peace that is brought about by treaties and stuff. This is peace that comes from our being at peace with God. And then we join others into that. We try to overlook others' faults, still within the realm of reason. But now let's look at the 4 things that the world runs after. And let's take a little note of it. Obviously, we want to avoid lusting after power and wealth and respect and pleasure. But there's another thing we need to look out for. There are many in the world who would present themselves as the patrons and advocates for the poor and the outcast and the downtrodden. And they'll even point to the Beatitudes and Christian teaching saying, see, this is what we're all about. We want to help the poor. We want to help the outcast in society. But we need to look out for something. A lot of people that would present themselves as advocates for people in these situations, their goal is to make the poor wealthy, at least to some extent. Their goal is to make the outcast the central core of society. The goal that they pursue is to make the weak be the powerful and to lord it over other people. And that's missing the point, because what happens if that's the way we pursue helping the poor and outcast, we're basically saying it is evil to be poor. It is evil to be outcast. It is evil to be powerless. But that's not true. What they're still seeking is power and pleasure and wealth and honor. If we want to truly help the poor and the outcast, we should do it from the perspective of the 4 principles that Jesus gives us: justice and mercy and peace and purity of heart. Because while Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are the meek. Here's the thing. If you're poor and you despise poverty and you seek wealth, you're not blessed. You're miserable. If you are sad and mourning and you try to fill up your experience with pleasure just to drown out the mourning, you're not blessed. You're miserable. If you have no power and you despise that and you spend all your time seeking power and putting those who are even less than you under your feet, you're not blessed. You're miserable. And if you are despised by others and you put all of your efforts trying to win their good opinion, throwing your principles to the ground, then you're not blessed. You're miserable. And so we should not be fooled. We should see what is truly blessed. We should meditate on these Beatitudes and try to live them. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever.